What's wrong with this patient?
This man has a cataract in his left eye. His right eye has already been removed as a result of a war injury. The doctors are planning on taking the cataract out and hopefully putting a lens in if they can. He may also have had some damage to the back part, the retina, in his eye. And they'll take a look at that after they take the cataract out to see if there's any injury there and if they need to do anything.
Thank you very much. Because they want to talk to him and we need to hear the story of how he got here.
Okay. What's the major problem you have here?
The biggest problem here? I think that, well, initially we thought it was basically the organization and coordination and the security problems. But we found that our hosts here are doing just wonderfully. They provided extra security for us, and the patients are coming through on time. What we were worried about, and it did happen the first few days, the patients were coming late, I think due to going through special security. But now it's all organized and it's going very, very smoothly indeed since we came here.
Do you feel that this is a political invitation?
No, not at all. In fact, when we first got the invitation, that was our first job to see that the doctors really wanted us, and it wasn't just a political invitation. And I came in right after we received the invitation to talk to the doctors and see that they really wanted us here. And they have. In fact, they have all the most modern equipment. They have lasers and ultrasounds and so on. But due to the war, in the last 5 years, they have been cut off from ophthalmologists coming in and training them, and a lot of them are not allowed to go out at all. So in fact it's a model program for us to come in and show them how to use a lot of the equipment that they don't know how to use.
How does it feel to work under war conditions?
Well, it's a little, we were a little apprehensive at first, but they have been so good to us and the organization has been excellent that one doesn't really notice it that much, except it is obviously in the forefront of everyone's minds, and it has affected their surgical expertise here very much so, but it hasn't affected us really as far as just carrying out a program here.
Do you have any problems concerning security, or I mean, do they hinder you in any way?
Not at all. They have, and that is what I came in initially to find out, that security would not be a problem, which would not hinder the program, which would not hold patients back that we couldn't see and so on. They really have done their utmost to help in every way, and I think that's because it shows their need, that they really do need to see what's happening in the advances in ophthalmology across the world, and that's why they've really organized the thing right from the highest level for us and made it very smooth for us.
Well, you're a white plane lying in the middle of an airport on the in the war conditions. I mean, how does that feel?
Well, I think that Project Orbis's main objective is to combat world blindness and to promote peaceful cooperation. And I think there is no better way than through communication and the sharing of knowledge that to show that peaceful cooperation follows. And I think there's nothing more exciting than Project Orbis, which is an international, independent, humanitarian project, to come to a country which needs the expertise and surgical expertise, but also a country which is at major conflict, and to show that cooperation and communication leads to better understanding.
Doctor, would you mind asking the patient where he was wounded, how he was wounded, etc.?
شلون انضربت وين انضربت؟
ضربت بالعمار عيوني طلع عليه صاروخ.
He said, I with rockets in the war south of Iraq. ايش وقت؟
صارت 3 سنوات.
Since 3 years he was wanted. Before 3 years he wanted in the war.
Can he see anything at all?
هسه 24
أشوف ضوء هسه.
Only light. He can see only lights. Nothing.
What's his hope?
شنو أعمالك؟
عسكري.
No, يعني you mean what's he working or his hope?
Why does he come on this aeroplane?
يعني ايش تتمنى وليش جيت للطيارة؟
بدي أشوف شوي أعمل الشوف.
His hope is to see and.
You will be the assistant surgeon, I understand, on this operation.
Yes.
What do you think of this operation? I mean, of Orbis. Now, I'm not talking about this particular one, but about Orbis in general.
In general, Orbis is a very good idea, and we're interested about this program, and we learn too much from technique and instruments you have here in the Orbis. It's very nice and very good.
Do you feel that there is any difference because you're under war conditions than if you were under peace conditions? I mean,
of course, there's much difference between war and peace, especially in the eye field, because you know there is traumatic cataracts and wound so much in the war, and especially intraocular foreign bodies. So,
do you feel because of the war you weren't able to teach yourself or be acquainted with modern techniques?
Yes, of course. We learn from modern techniques too much from the Orbis.
Is there guards?
Yes.
How do you think this operation, this particular operation, will go?
Doctor,
I hope so.
closing comments?
You hope he will. Do you think he will see?
I didn't see the eye well, because you know my friend is
That lens looks like it's perfectly
his
centered.
consultant. I am
Nice
his
round pupil.
so I hope he will see this patient.
How does it feel to work with American doctors?
Sorry.
How does it feel to operate together with American doctors?
Very nice and very good idea to work with American, because they are
Agree more with that.
you know very graduated in ophthalmology, so we are learning from them too much.
Do you feel that the Americans are doing this for any particular purpose?
Difficult question. Yes, maybe.
Or what would their purpose be?
I don't know really, but maybe yes.
Think political purpose?
Maybe yes.
Don't you think it's just a goodwill operation?
Both.
But also political?
Maybe yes.
And what about your country inviting the plane here? Do you think that was a political gesture?
We are interested not with all countries about ophthalmology, and we try to work with all nationalities, not only with the USA.
Oh, okay.
What else?
Okay.
Rectus suture. The rectus suture is what always gives me trouble. But I think it's important if you don't first place your rectus suture well to go back. I always seem like I have to replace the rectus suture. Everybody has their own little difficulties. Well, I'll tell you what I've started doing, George, is I've forgotten the rectus suture, and I've started using a 7 or an 8/0 silk and just taking a little squirrel bite right at about 4 millimeters back at the pars plana. That's worked pretty well, and I avoid having to repeat the rectus suture 7 or 8 times. Well, I've been very happy not doing it. But in any case, all of these are extremely important.
Which way do you want to go?
Just the contact.
Which is out of the
We're
way?
going to the bathroom.
Oh, I see.
As you see here, with a 4-inch space flap, with the lens space flap, you're going to have
Yes.
بس قول له على كيف
so you can say I used
هم شغلتهم هذه.
20 minutes at my pace. And I was a little too firm.
Can you open your mouth?
افتح حلقك.
No.
سد حلقك.
Open.
افتح حلقك.
I'm just going to put a needle in, and he's going to feel a bit of tension afterwards.
شوية راح يضربك إبرة شوية تحس مثل الضغط شوية لا تخاف.
Adjust it. You can adjust it depending on what you want. Some people rather work with something.
But that will go away.
It looks like it's still closing.
Yeah.
I've bent out the one end a little bit.
Platform.
The tip still, it looks like the one tip is chewed off though. Hold it back.
What are you doing there?
World class.
Trying to fix some surgical instruments that have kind of broken or gotten out of alignment. You can fix it on the plane, we don't have to send it back. Then.
Well, that's better,
Do you think that's better?
Yeah, but the platforms still come
You
together
have
a
to
bit
do
more.
a lot yourself, sort of a do-it-yourself kit.
Yeah, sort of like all around things. One day plumbing, one day metal work, one day wiring. This is definitely better. But
Yeah.
this I don't know.
It's kind of thing I don't do routinely.
Yeah.
It would be difficult for me to argue.
Looks, are these supposed to be sharp at the end or pointed or round? Like the one's sharp and one looks rounded.
Yeah, no, they're okay.
With a white background.
They're okay.
How did you get to Iraq in the first place?
Well, what happened is we had Greece, Athens in Greece, slotted in for this time period that we are here. But in fact, they postponed our visit because they had some internal political problems and changing the chiefs of their hospitals and so on. So we had to find somewhere, and basically I looked at the map, and there was Iraq, and it's not too far from Istanbul. We'd known that the doctors in Iraq wanted us because we'd met them around the world, and so I basically called the United Nations ambassador to Iraq, Ambassador Kitani, told him that we were in the area and if there was any possibility of us coming in. And then about 2 weeks later we got the invitation, and then Dr. Slade and I flew into Baghdad to see that security would be fine and that the doctors really wanted us, and there was not really any political intention behind it at all. And that's why we're here.
How does it feel to work under war conditions?
Well, it's very exciting. Obviously, we have to cooperate 100% with the security here, and which there is a lot of, and it's very understandable. And it hasn't actually hampered the program at all as yet, because they've laid on extra security for us, and they do talk to the patients and so on, and all of us. But it's a little nervous sometimes, but generally we've been extremely well looked after, and we're very, very happy to be here, because it's not just the medical exchange, it's the promoting of goodwill too.
Don't you feel like a #1 target sitting here on the airport?
Not at all, no. I wouldn't understand that, and we're an international project. We have people on this plane from all different backgrounds and cultures, and I wouldn't see why we would be a target at all. We're helping people in this country who have blind problems, and we're helping to exchange skills with the doctors so they can learn some of the latest techniques around the world. And we learn from them too, through the trauma that they have on the front and so forth, and we see a lot of the patients.
Well, the missiles don't have any addresses.
Missiles don't have any addresses. I wouldn't know why a missile would be sent here in the first place at all. I don't see any reason. I honestly don't see any reason for that.
What's the particular problem on this here case?
The problem is that he has an only eye that has a dense cataract, and we don't know what's behind the cataract. He was in a bomb explosion. I don't even think he knew what hit him when it happened. So, and he's also having a little bit of trouble now with his heart rhythms. But he sees nothing, so this is his only hope. We've done every test that we know how to do to determine what his chances are to have good vision once the cataract is taken out. But in any case that you're operating on after trauma, you don't know what you're going to find behind the cataract, because we can't see in just as he can't see out.
1 to 10, what's the chances?
9 out of 10 if there's nothing behind the cataract. If there's something behind the cataract, there's not much of a chance.
Why are you here?
People like him are here because there's doctors here.
Are you a volunteer?
Mm-hmm.
Where are you from?
Houston.
Tell me a little bit about this. Talk about it. Where do you go to school?
He just moved there.
Where are you from?
I'm from Houston, in Texas. I grew up there. Went to school in Houston and Tulane in New Orleans, University of Texas, and Guy's Hospital in London. I've been with Project Orbis for 3 years in various roles as fellow ophthalmologist, consultant, and field medical director.
So why are you here right now?
Because it's a rock, it's a challenge. It's something that you can't do in the States. It makes you feel good to be here.
Are you worried about the war?
No.
Surrounding you?
No, I'm not. I think we've been assured of our safety. You're reminded of the war constantly, but Baghdad seems relatively safe. I came in to Baghdad before the plane got here and made a visit with Oliver Foote, and we were assured, and we assured ourselves too. The war is even more of a reason for us to be here. I think we're needed. I think the doctors here, we can learn from them, they can learn from us. It's a good thing to be here.
Are you learning anything about modern war wounds or such?
I'm learning about modern war. All the patients, we saw several patients yesterday that have been suffered trauma at the front. They're starting to come in now. They've heard that we're here, and we're getting large numbers of them coming to the hospital where we go in the mornings. The thing that surprises me is none of them seem to know what happened to them. They can't tell the story about they were in battle and they were shot by this or that. Most of them just seem to be an explosion happened to them. It seems the weapons have outpaced the human being's ability to detect when they're coming or even what happens once they've gotten there. They don't have a story to tell. Most of them were just an explosion and they can't see or they can't walk or they have nothing left.